So I want to tell you something I used to keep quiet. Not the fact that I've been on a GLP-1 drug for the past 3 years almost, but truthfully, that deep down, I was so worried that the drug would not work. Inside my mind, I kept thinking and judging myself that somehow this effort would be just like every effort I've tried before in the past 40 years, and it wouldn't work. Yet I've lost 50 pounds, and I'm at a weight I haven't been in since my late teens. So I don't know why I kept having these thoughts, and I still am. So let's talk about it because I think a lot of people have these feelings of shame or hesitation, or they have some kind of internal judgment going on because of the fact that we have a drug now for weight loss that truly does help. And I'm done being quiet about my internal dialogue. And I've shared about my success with using this drug Mounjaro on this channel and dealing with the side effects and the concerns about whether I'm going to have to be on this drug for the rest of my life. I don't know. But I do want to talk about the inner dialogues that we all run around with. I think also, too, the media has this mixed issue around us using drugs for weight loss, and there's a lot of controversy that you should be able to do this with eating less, moving more, all of these things that are out there because there's such a complexity to weight and being overweight. So I want to talk to you from a real person's experience. And I'm not just someone who's been on a GLP-1 drug, but I'm someone who has over 25 plus years of research. I'm a health psychologist. This is MC. I started this channel because I really want us to understand how we can have the best version of ourselves well into our 80s and 90s. So please join me here each week. I would love to share with you and join me on this journey for better health and wellness, both mentally, physically, and spiritually as we get older. Please press the like button and subscribe. It would be so meaningful for me. So I want to tell you my truth and the story behind this internal stigma. I think the basics is that I really had read the research. And I really understood what these medications could do when I read the research that GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. It's a hormone your body naturally produces. It signals to your brain that you're full, that it slows your digestion, and it helps regulate your blood sugar. So it was originally developed for diabetes because it's a hormone. And this medication mimics it. And these brands of Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound were originally developed to promote type 2 diabetes because, let's face it, diabetes is a huge epidemic. So when they gave them these medications, guess what? They were losing weight. And the FDA, after some significant research, they let the companies do some studies that showed this drug could really help change the world of weight loss. And that it is for many of us the first time our body has ever cooperated with the process of losing weight. In fact, the studies have shown that weight loss in these studies was between 15 and 25%. They work. It's not a miracle pill. It's not exaggerating. And I truly, like I shared, there's this internal dialogue that nothing I do works, nothing. And I've done everything you can imagine. I've done the, eat 1,000 calories. I've done the fasting. I have done the eliminate all the carbs and do more exercise. I've done it to the point of exhaustion. Nothing worked ever. I would lose to a certain point and then it would just stop. Nothing happened. So inside of me is this sort of struggle I knew that taking this drug wasn't just about doing the drug. I knew it was about still maintaining my diary of food, still watching the calories, still making sure I moved more. And it's taken 3 years and I've gone slowly. And I want to tell you, it hasn't been easy and it certainly wasn't passive. And I do have these emotional triggers that still show up. There's a complexity about being someone who grew up overweight all your life that it's very difficult to let go of. But I saw that the results were real for myself and that every effort that I made, it showed up in losing weight. Yet inside me, it was this old dialogue. You don't really have the willpower, or you just in the past, you weren't trying hard enough. And all of this was something that I need to let go of because even though as a young girl, I felt like my weight was my fault, those voices don't count anymore. And I really need to allow them to let go, and that we all need to let go of any of these things that tell us that we are not deserving of having the experience of being supported in our weight loss journey with a drug that works. And you can feel still a bit of shame or stigma about it. But the fact is, we have to let it go. Because weight and being obese is not something that we cause. Sure, I think that there are elements about my behavior that don't help me physically, but the truth is obesity is a medical condition. And the messages we get from culture and social media is that our weight loss is something that we've caused, and that if we did what we should by exercising and having a calorie deficit, it's very difficult. And I've absorbed some of this message, and that it causes me at times, especially as I've gotten successful, and now I'm getting closer and closer to my goal weight, there's this kind of what's happening is, and it's going slower because for the first time, my body is becoming more muscle and less fat. And that I need to start understanding that it's okay to continue to do what I'm doing and basically understand that slower is okay. And it doesn't mean that I'm not doing just as much as I was before as I am now. And I think that's why I got this Hume band, is because with this band, I can see how the fat is going down. I can see how the muscle is increasing. And that's helped me deal with my internal dialogue because I haven't been at this weight since my late teens. And I really need to embrace what an achievement that is for myself. I need to know that this is an okay choice, and I need to let the judgment about being on a GLP-1 medication not be in my head anymore. Part of the issue is that 60% of men and 35% of women who are on these GLP-1 drugs, they are fearful of being judged or shamed. And this is according to the Kinsey Institute that reported this in 2025. They found that 60% of men and 35% of these women that felt that they couldn't tell anybody, that they had to hide it or justify their choice, that somehow they didn't have what it took that other people had. 26% of people said they would not date someone taking a GLP-1 drug. What does that mean? Does that mean that you think that person is less than, as they don't have any capability of control or discipline? Are you kidding me? Some of the most disciplined people I know are people who have been on a long-term having to deal with their weight. And that this is not something that's just about lifestyle. It's about health for me. And I don't believe that this is a shortcut at all, because believe me, the side effects are not great. We really need to let go of these old thoughts about research and the facts that we're using things developed through research to help us medically deal with our bodies that are not cooperating. Why that is, I don't know. But believe me, studies have found that when two people lose the same amount of weight, one through diet and one through exercise, and one through a medication, the person using the medication is consistently judged more negatively than the person who's doing it with diet and exercise. For some reason, they think that there's less effort for the person who is using a medication. And I think that it may be not being said it out loud, but the judgment is real. So think about that. It's not true. It's not truly fair, I think, to people who don't understand the obesity epidemic, that this is not about something that is a behavioral issue. There's something going on that's wrong in my body that's not working for me. And I don't think it's a bad thing for me to do what I need to do to take control of something that can help me live longer, have a better experience in my body. I think we should not feel that people are doing things as a shortcut if they're doing a drug that is for obesity, because it is a complex medical condition. There's hormonal, neurological, genetic, and environmental components, and that it's not about some kind of discipline issue or a character flaw. It's not about the fact that you're medically cheating. You're not medically cheating. You're being smart, and that's what I'm really wanting to believe about myself and let go of that negative noise in my mind. So, according to a poll in 2024, 1 in 8 American adults has used a GLP-1 medication. So that's not a small number. That's millions of people at work, in your neighborhood, in your family, who may be going through the quiet experience of feeling hesitant about taking a medication, and that these medications have increased 3 times since they came out. And yet we still allow in our media and in our discussions this stigma and misinformation that this is somehow about not having control or being lazy, and that it's not something that, and that somehow we're medically cheated. Obesity is a medical condition. And this is what the science says. If FDA approved this for people with a body mass index of 30 or above, or 27 and above with a weight-related health condition. They're not approved for casual cosmetic use, but we need to really stop condemning people who are doing the very best they can, dealing with whatever the complexity is of their weight loss. And we need to allow people to do what they need to do to prevent further health problems due to being overweight, and that these drugs are life-changing. And frankly, they have been life-changing for me. I'm not telling you that this drug is for everyone. I'm telling you that if it's right for you and it's helping you, you don't owe anyone an apology for that or an explanation. So I want to come back to something I shared earlier. I think it's the piece people least expect to struggle with. The shame comes from inside me, because guess what? I've carried this around for almost 40 years, that somehow there was a weakness in me and my ability to deal with food and movement. And that even if the medication worked and the weight came off, I still felt that anytime around the corner that somehow it won't work or it doesn't count or I didn't really achieve this place. And frankly, I'm still struggling to get in touch with what my body feels like. I think that I know that this internal voice comes from the decades of diet culture messaging and the idea that thinness is a moral achievement or a behavioral achievement, or it's for people who really know how to discipline and sacrifice because they've done whatever they needed to do. And that I, because I couldn't, failed. So remember, Your worth is not determined by how hard your weight loss was or by the size of your body, no matter what. This is never, ever the element that values who you are. You're valuable no matter what. And above all, our health is what matters. Our life is what matters. How we feel in our body is what matters. And ultimately, if that's what these medications can do, then we really need to support others who will take these meds or maybe are afraid to take them or scared to tell people about taking them, that they'll be judged. So I just want you to know that your health and your decisions are yours. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for whatever you use to take care of your body. Talk to your doctor. Let go of the social media feed. The science and the research supports these medications, and we're learning more and more that these medications have even maybe abilities to help people who have drug and alcohol abuse issues. So if you're dealing with internal shame like I've been, with some voice inside of you that judges you for using this medication, I am 3 years in almost, and I am 50 plus pounds lighter. I'm in a body now I haven't lived in since I was a teenager, and I can tell you it was worth it. The medication is a tool. I'm still using it. I still work with all the food that I'm eating, counting, and I am telling myself I have nothing to be ashamed of. And neither do you if you're feeling any issues. I'm not keeping quiet anymore. I'm not going to let that little voice in my body tell me that I'm not doing what I need to do, because I need to do what is best for me, and so do you. So let me leave you with these 3 things. GLP-1 medications are legitimate medical treatments backed by research, approved by the FDA, and are used by millions of people. And 2, the stigma around them is real, but it's rooted, I think, in misunderstanding and not the facts. And you're the only person who knows the facts about your health condition as I about mine. And 3, your health journey belongs to you. Use the tools that work. Leave the judgment behind. And I'm leaving that behind starting today. So if this episode meant something to you, please push that subscribe button and share it with someone who you think will find this helpful. And if you're navigating through a journey of life that's challenging or alone, drop a comment below and you'll find that I will love to share with you. Remember, we have one precious life. Let's live it to the fullest and well into our 80s and 90s, the best version of who we are. Isn't that what we want? That's what I want. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.